a larger version of the chimpanzee. It's like 6 feet tall. Locals call them lion killers.
Deep within the lush heart of the Congo, where the vibrant green canopy of trees meets the dark, fertile soil, there exists a secret world that defies people's understanding of the animal kingdom. Imagine a troop of giant chimpanzees, noble, strong, and surprisingly clever. These incredible creatures are not only known for their intelligence, but they also possess an astonishing ability. They can hunt and overpower fierce predators, including lions. Join us as we venture into the depths of the Congo to reveal the astonishing truth about the giant chimpanzee society that can take down lions. Legendary giants of the Congo. In the remote and dense forests of Northern Democratic Republic of Congo, close to the border of the Central African Republic, there exists a mysterious group of giant chimpanzees. These powerful and agile primates, known for their incredible strength and fierce nature, have long been a subject of fascination for local communities. Legends say these extraordinary apes can take down lions and make terrifyingly loud calls at night, echoing through the forest. For many years, these stories remained unproven, but recent scientific interest has reignited the quest to learn more about these elusive creatures. Driven by curiosity and excitement, scientists braved the dangers of this untamed wilderness to locate the legendary chimpanzees. They ventured deep into uncharted territories, often navigating treacherous landscapes while avoiding armed hunters and violent rebel groups scattered throughout the jungle. The researchers believe that this population might be one of the last remaining large communities of chimpanzees that still preserve unique cultural traditions. Cleve Hicks, a renowned German primate expert, has suggested that there may be no other place on Earth with such a vast number of chimps coexisting together. He estimates that there could be tens of thousands of these giant chimpanzees within this expansive forested area, making it possibly the largest chimpanzee population in Africa. What makes them even more captivating is that they all follow a distinct way of life, shared and practiced by every member of the group. They primarily feast on fruit, with fig nuts being one of their favorites. Their communication style resembles that of chimpanzees, using panting hoots and drumming sounds on tree trunks. When encountering humans, they often seem cautious, but rarely act aggressively. Instead, they quietly observe before slipping away. According to researcher Hicks, these apes spotted within 12 miles of roads tend to flee almost immediately, with adult males being the most skittish. These unique apes resemble larger chimpanzees, with footprints measuring between 11 and 13 inches long. They have distinctive physical traits, such as flat faces, broad mouths, and a bony ridge that runs straight across their foreheads. Unlike gorillas, which turn gray as they age, they are known as the billy apes. They are born with black fur that turns completely gray when they are still young. Their skulls share characteristics with both chimpanzees and gorillas, displaying a prominent brow ridge and a bony crest on top. Billy apes are bigger than most other chimpanzees and exhibit different behaviors. People have even reported sightings of them, eating leopards, an extraordinary and rare behavior for primates. While typical chimpanzees build their nests high in tree branches, billy apes are known to sleep on the ground, constructing nests at the forest floor level. They also seem to have a taste for giant snails. To crack open these tough shells, they smash them against rocks or logs. Motion-activated cameras placed in the forest have recorded groups of male billy apes patrolling their territory, showcasing how they defend their area from intruders and maintain a unique lifestyle deep in the Congolese rainforest. Mothers in the group were even seen teaching their young ones how to use tools to get food. But while the cameras captured these fascinating behaviors, they didn't record any instances of them howling at the moon. The billy apes have earned a spine-chilling nickname, lion killers. This ominous title makes them seem even more mysterious. The name comes from local stories and rumors suggesting these apes are powerful and aggressive enough to take on and even kill lions. Such tales only add to the billy apes' fearsome reputation, setting them apart from other primates and making them appear more ferocious and legendary. The billy apes have amazed researchers not just with their sheer strength and size, but also with their remarkable intelligence and complex social behaviors. They've been spotted using long sticks to fish for termites and ants, demonstrating their problem-solving skills and adaptability. In addition, these chimps have developed unique ways of communicating using distinct sounds and gestures to cooperate and stay connected with their relatives, showcasing their sophisticated social structure. Their ability to adjust to their environment and create shared customs is further proof of their adaptability and sharp minds. The discovery of these mysterious apes has reignited global interest in primate conservation efforts, particularly in the Congo basin. Unfortunately, years of war and political instability in the region have made it challenging to protect these rare creatures. Conservationists now emphasize the urgent need to safeguard the billy forest and its wildlife, not just to maintain the delicate balance of the ecosystem, but also to prevent these incredible primates from disappearing forever. The discoveries of the billy apes. The story of the chimpanzee discovery dates back to 1908, when explorers in the Congo stumbled upon gorilla skulls near the village of Bay. These skulls were sent to Belgium, which controlled the region at the time, for scientific study. Initially, scientists believed they had found a new species of gorilla, naming it Gorilla elliot. However, in 1970, a scientist named Colin Groves revisited the findings and concluded that the skulls were actually from regular Western gorillas. Fast forward to 1996, when photographer Carl Ammann journeyed to the town of Bili in search of these supposed gorillas. What he discovered was unexpected. He found a chimpanzee skull that appeared to be a blend of both chimpanzee and gorilla features. Along with this puzzling skull, Ammann also came across a photograph of an unusually large chimpanzee and stumbled upon massive droppings, far larger than what ordinary chimps leave behind. The footprints he observed were also remarkably large, with some matching the size of gorilla prints and others even larger. Despite these clues, Ammann left the region without conducting an in-depth investigation. However, Ammann was not ready to give up. In the year 2000, he returned to Bili with a team of international researchers. They followed the guidance of a local hunter who had explored the area before. Although they did not encounter any chimps, they made an intriguing observation: large, comfortable nests on the ground in swampy areas. Typically, it is gorillas, not chimps, that build such nests. Despite this curious finding, the team still did not manage to spot any of the elusive apes. The outbreak of the Congolese Civil War unfortunately halted scientific investigations into the mysterious Bili apes. After the war ended in 2003, scientists could safely return to the Congo's forests, reigniting the search. Shelley Williams, an animal behavior expert affiliated with National Geographic, joined the effort and claimed to be the first scientist to see the elusive Bili apes in person. Williams returned with videos of these apes, although she didn't film them herself. She admitted to buying the footage from someone who tracked the animals for a living. During her exploration, Williams had a chilling encounter with the apes. She recounted being in the forest one evening when she suddenly heard them in the trees. 4 large apes emerged and ran towards her. Despite the tension, they didn't make any threatening sounds. Instead, they were eerily quiet and massive, appearing as if they were about to attack, but stopping just before reaching her. After seeing her face, they simply vanished back into the forest. Williams, having learned the local language, discovered that the people there spoke of 2 distinct types of giant apes. The first, called tree beaters, lived high in the trees, avoiding hunters, and could be killed by poison arrows. The second, known as lion killers, rarely climbed trees. These apes were larger, darker, and immune to poison, making them even more formidable in the eyes of the locals. Some reports suggest that it was Ammon who first learned about these mysterious apes from the locals. Williams, during her summer expedition, claimed to have observed 3 distinct chimpanzee species, including what she believed might be a new one. She found the behavior of the billy apes unusual, unlike anything documented before. This led her to speculate that they could either be a completely new species of chimpanzee or even a unique blend between a chimp and a gorilla. Williams described these chimps as unlike any others, with unique behaviors and customs that set them apart from all previously studied chimpanzees. Her bold claims grabbed media attention, but soon after, she was barred from working with Ammon, who criticized her in a 2003 letter, accusing her of being unprofessional. Despite this, Williams remained determined to continue her research independently and planned another trip to study these mysterious apes. However, in 2004, a different expert named Cleve Hicks joined Ammon's team and had a different perspective. Hicks argued that genetic tests showed the billy apes were not a new subspecies at all. Hair samples collected from nests in 2003 were analyzed and revealed the chimps were part of a known species. Williams disputed these findings, suggesting the hair samples could have been contaminated by humans or other animals. She also disagreed with the methods used to analyze the DNA, claiming they might not be reliable for chimpanzees. Furthermore, she argued that the DNA used in the analysis only came from the maternal side, so it wouldn't show if these chimps had interbred with gorillas in the past. The groundbreaking expedition of Congo forests. In 2004, another scientist named Cleve Hicks ventured deep into the African forests to study a group of these unusual chimpanzees, located about 60 kilometers away from a town called Bili. Even though these chimps, including the large and dominant males, surrounded Hicks and his team and showed intense curiosity, they did not display any signs of aggression or hostility, just as earlier reports had indicated. Unfortunately, in 2005, the groundbreaking researcher Williams, who was deeply involved in the study of the billy apes, suffered a tragic accident that left her paralyzed. After this life-altering event, she withdrew from public discussions about the billy apes and cancelled a planned expedition to continue her research. By 2006, Cleve Hicks and his team dedicated a significant amount of time to studying these unique chimps, observing them for over 20 hours. His findings concluded that these were indeed chimpanzees and not some mysterious hybrid species resembling gorillas, as some had speculated. He identified behaviors that are typically seen in chimpanzees, such as how the females communicate using distinct vocalizations and drumming rhythmically on trees. In a fascinating twist, DNA tests from droppings confirmed that these were indeed a known subspecies of chimpanzees. There was, however, some confusion in the media as reports mixed up these findings with Williams's earlier claims. Even Cleve Hicks, the lead researcher, had to step in and clarify that a few news articles had misquoted him on the subject. In 2019, Hicks and his team put an end to the assumption by publishing a comprehensive report on their observations. They concluded that these chimpanzees represented a unique behavioral group within the larger region. This group had distinct customs, communication methods using sign language, social behaviors, and eating patterns that set them apart. For example, they used tools in novel ways and refused to eat a particular species of termite that most other chimpanzees typically enjoy. Hicks and his colleagues explored an astounding 2,000 kilometers of dense forest, covering a massive area of over 50,000 square kilometers. Based on their surveys and findings, they estimated that the population of these remarkable chimps could number in the thousands or even tens of thousands, indicating a thriving community with its unique way of life. The secrets of giant chimpanzees. Despite the challenges of reaching this remote area, where risks such as malaria and potential conflicts loomed, Hicks was resolute in his quest to study these fascinating chimpanzees. He was eager to uncover the intricacies of their lives, including how they crafted tools, what constituted their diet, and where they chose to sleep at night. Inspired by the renowned wildlife photographer Carl Ammon Hicks, who was pursuing his PhD at the University of Amsterdam, teamed up with Ammon's research team in 2004 to delve into the lives of the Billy chimpanzees. For 12 years, they meticulously followed 20 different groups of these remarkable chimps across a vast region, uncovering their complex and surprising culture. Through careful observation, they examined the tools the chimps utilized, their dietary habits, mating behaviors, and sleeping patterns. What they discovered was nothing short of astonishing. The chimpanzees displayed remarkable intelligence in selecting the right tools for specific tasks. For example, they expertly used long, thick sticks, sometimes measuring over 2 meters, to extract aggressive driver ants from their extensive underground nests. These sticks represented the longest known insect hunting tools employed by chimps, allowing them to safely reach deep inside the nests without risking bites. On the other hand, chimpanzees cleverly use shorter, sturdier sticks to crush a different type of ant known for its painful sting. It's quite logical that the chimps would want to weaken these ants before consuming them, given how excruciating their stings can be. Moreover, they employ strong sticks to extract sweet honey from underground beehives and delicate thinner sticks to catch weaker, non-swarming ants. By studying how these chimpanzees utilize tools, researchers can gain valuable insights into how early humans may have developed their tools, even if those early implements were made from materials that didn't endure. Additionally, the work of Dr. Hicks sheds light on how our ancient ancestors, which were ape-like creatures known as Australopithecines, used simple tools to survive. It is reasonable to believe that our forebears fashioned similar objects, such as sticks and branches, to gather food. Unfortunately, since their tools were likely made from perishable materials, they would have left little evidence for modern archaeologists to uncover. Investigating the tool usage of chimpanzees not only helps us understand how early human tools functioned, but also illustrates how cultures evolved. Furthermore, researchers discovered distinct eating habits among the Billy chimpanzees. Unlike other chimpanzee groups, these chimps have a unique preference for dining on termites from 2 specific types of mounds constructed by the cuboterms and macroterms species. These termites are quite common throughout Africa, and it's fascinating to note that the chimps in the Bili-Were region completely ignore the abundant macroterms termite mounds. These termites are a favored food source for many other chimp groups. Jane Goodall famously observed chimps using tools to catch these termites in Gombe in the 1960s, showcasing their remarkable intelligence and adaptability. However, the Bili Were chimps appear uninterested in this plentiful resource, and the reasons behind their indifference remain a mystery. Other chimpanzee groups actively seek out macro-terms termites, often employing tools or even catching them by hand. This difference highlights the concept of chimpanzee culture, which encompasses the unique traditions and behaviors passed down within each group. Culture is not solely about diet. It also reflects the customs shaped by their environment and experiences. Yet, scientists must exercise caution when interpreting these findings. There could be various reasons for the Bili Were chimps' lack of interest in these termites, including environmental factors or genetic traits that influence their behavior. Understanding why these chimps seemingly avoid such a delicious food source, despite the risks of encountering predators like lions and leopards, continues to be a fascinating topic of research and discussion. Interestingly, researchers have also found evidence that the Bili Were chimps engage in hunting and scavenging, revealing a complex and rich behavioral landscape that is still being explored. These chimpanzees have quite an adventurous diet. They feast on an array of unusual items, including giant African snails, tortoises, pangolins, and even leopards. In one fascinating observation, scientists witnessed these remarkable primates munching on an okapi, a large forest animal they likely snatched from a leopard's grasp. These chimps have also amazed researchers with their unique sleeping habits. Unlike most chimpanzees that curl up in the safety of tree branches at night, these particular chimps prefer to sleep on the ground. They are like skilled builders, expertly weaving branches and plants together to create cozy beds for themselves. This choice might seem risky, given that leopards and other predators roam their territory. However, it's worth noting that these chimps have been seen eating leopards, suggesting they may have lost their fear of these big cats. Scientists are still investigating this intriguing behavior. Cleve Hicks, along with another researcher, is studying how chimpanzees sleep in various parts of Africa to determine if this ground sleeping habit is exclusive to these unique Bili chimps. Now, it's time for today's subscriber pick. Deep in the uncharted jungles of the Congo, a mysterious society of giant chimpanzees reigns supreme. Known as the Mbembe tribe, to the few daring researchers who've managed to glimpse them, these colossal primates, standing over 6 feet tall, possess not only incredible strength, but a level of intelligence that rivals humanity's greatest apes. Legend among the locals tells of their unmatched skills, stronger and faster than any predator. These chimps have developed a remarkable social order where teamwork and strategy are key. They've even devised traps and coordinated attacks using crude but effective weapons like sharpened sticks and stones. Yet the most astonishing tales speak of their clashes with lions, the kings of the savannah, brought low by the Mbembe's sheer numbers and precise ambush tactics. One evening, under the blood-red glow of the setting sun, a pride of hungry lions approached the outskirts of the Mbembe's territory, hoping to catch an unwary chimp. But the Mbembe were waiting. In a flurry of guttural roars and coordinated movements, the chimps sprang from the trees. Their battle cry echoed like thunder through the forest as they overpowered the lions with a combination of overwhelming force and terrifying intelligence. The great predators, reduced to nothing more than prey, fled for their lives. From that day on, the Mbembe tribe was etched into legend, not as ordinary chimps, but as the rulers of the jungle, able to take down even the mightiest beasts that dared to challenge them. Could chimps' evolution bring about a new era in the animal kingdom? Let us have your opinions in the comment below. The remarkable lives and challenges of billy apes. In the lush forests, some billy apes inhabit the northern regions, while others call the southern areas home, separated by a winding river. The billy chimps, thriving in expansive forests with diverse habitats, share fascinatingly similar customs throughout the region. Regardless of their location, these remarkable creatures exhibit some consistent behaviors. They all build cozy nests on the ground for sleeping, cleverly use long sticks to fish for ants, skillfully break into termite mounds, and tend to ignore a specific type of termite that other chimps find quite delectable. Researchers like Cleve Hicks suggest two interesting reasons for these shared traditions. First, it's possible that these groups of chimpanzees haven't been apart long enough for their customs to evolve into distinct practices. Alternatively, even if one group discovers a new way of doing things, it might quickly spread to neighboring groups due to their frequent movement. This mobility means they often stick to their traditional ways instead of developing new ones. The billy chimps present a unique opportunity for scientists to explore how customs are transmitted among chimpanzees, who are our close relatives. Despite living in similar forest environments, there are some interesting differences between the chimpanzees on the northern and southern banks of the river. For example, the northern chimps seem to have a particular fondness for honey, which they often seek out. Their impressive ability to use long sticks for fishing ants is also more common in the northern groups, showcasing how diverse yet interconnected these chimpanzee communities are. In the southern regions, chimpanzees seem less interested in driver ants, even though these ants are abundant in their environment. Instead, they prefer to catch ponerine ants using shorter sticks. Interestingly, scientists have yet to observe any signs of these southern chimps eating honey. Cleve Hicks, a researcher studying this behavior, is unsure why the chimps on opposite sides of the river have such different food preferences. The researchers have noted that driver ant nests tend to be deeper than those of other ants, which could explain why northern chimps use longer sticks to reach them. However, it remains a puzzle why chimps from the north and south of the river choose different types of ants to eat. Other chimp groups, such as those in Gambia, also use shorter sticks to catch driver ants. Some scientists propose that northern chimps might be on the lookout for saltier ants because their region lacks adequate salt. Another potential reason for the varying food choices could be that red colobus monkeys, a favorite food source for chimps, are absent in the north. In other areas where both species coexist, northern chimps might need to find alternative protein sources like the driver ants they catch with long sticks. Interestingly, the southern chimps have a varied diet that includes both red colobus monkeys and driver ants. Cleve Hicks, along with fellow researcher Thibaut Gruber, suggests the concept of cultural override as a possible explanation for these differences. This idea implies that different groups of chimps may learn unique behaviors and food preferences from one another, leading to diverse eating habits. The future of the apes that protect the giant chimpanzee society in the Congo hangs in the balance. Researchers, led by Dr. Hicks, have a rare and valuable opportunity to study these chimpanzees and their unique traditions, which are at risk of vanishing. Dr. Hicks is deeply passionate about documenting and preserving these cultural practices before they disappear forever. Unfortunately, many chimpanzee cultures across Africa are fading away, primarily due to rapid human development. Dr. Hicks believes that the billy apes chimpanzees are fortunate to have survived this long, and he stresses the urgent need to safeguard them for future generations. However, The researchers were shocked to uncover a rampant and uncontrolled trade in bushmeat, particularly in areas south of the Welle River. Chimpanzee meat is alarmingly common in soups served in local dishes and is even sold openly in some markets. What's more troubling is that some law enforcement officials and government authorities appear to be unaware that chimpanzees are protected species. Disturbingly, there are reports of individuals keeping chimpanzees as pets, further threatening the survival of these magnificent creatures. It is crucial that awareness is raised and actions are taken to ensure the protection of these incredible animals and their rich cultural heritage. Dr. Hicks underscores the urgent need for immediate action to halt the ongoing destruction of chimpanzees. He believes there are two key strategies to save these incredible creatures. First, there must be stronger legal protections for vital chimpanzee habitats and the areas surrounding them. Second, it is essential to educate government officials about the importance of these protections and ensure they are enforced. International support is also crucial in bolstering the conservation efforts already in motion by the Congolese people. These chimpanzees are essential to the rich biodiversity of the Congo, and it's vital that we all come together to protect them. Unfortunately, the peaceful existence of these chimpanzees may be in jeopardy. For the last 30 years, the Democratic Republic of Congo has endured devastating wars, resulting in the International Rescue Committee estimating that over 5 million people have lost their lives in the conflict. Surprisingly, even though the war officially ended more than a decade ago, the chimps remain unprotected. Violence continues to plague the region, with neighboring countries like South Sudan, the Central African Republic, and some rebel-held areas in northern Uganda also experiencing frequent outbreaks of conflict. The dense forests that once provided a haven for these chimpanzees now serve as hiding spots for poachers and illegal hunters. Additionally, rebel groups such as the Lord's Resistance Army from Uganda have infiltrated these protected areas, killing the animals and threatening local villagers, sometimes even kidnapping them. It's a dire situation that demands our immediate attention and action to ensure the survival of these remarkable creatures and their habitat. The chimpanzee's extinction. Since 2010, the United States Fish and Wildlife Service has given over $340,000 to protect animals in the Billy Forest. In 2015, they teamed up with the African Wildlife Foundation to fund park rangers, part of the Congolese army, who safeguard the forest from rebels and poachers. These rangers were trained by Misha Consulting, an Israeli firm led by former elite commandos like Nir Cologne. They learned how to safely arrest poachers and handle confrontations with armed groups. Despite the efforts, the protection of the Billy Forest is mostly on paper. Dr. Thurston Cleveland Hicks, a researcher, warns that poachers have drastically reduced the elephant population, and chimpanzees could be next. He's been vocal about the urgency of the situation, as bushmeat hunters increasingly target these chimps, killing around 440 per year since 2010 in northern Congo alone. Researcher Christoph Busch reported seeing more orphaned baby chimps and carcasses left behind in Billy and nearby regions. He fears they could soon disappear entirely without stronger protection measures, just like in other parts of Africa. Although chimpanzees are among our closest animal relatives, they face extinction due to illegal hunting for bushmeat. This kind of meat, sold everywhere from small villages to big cities, is a major food source, but it's wiping out wildlife. Hunting bushmeat has deep roots in Central and West Africa, much like deer hunting in the UK. But urban growth has skyrocketed the demand, and with more logging and mining disturbing animal habitats, the future of these chimps and many other species hangs in the balance. According to Dr. Marcus Rockcliffe, a scientist deeply involved in studying the bushmeat trade, the growing cities and improved infrastructure across Africa have made it easier to transport bushmeat over long distances. This has led to a surge in the amount of bushmeat reaching urban markets. Dr. Rockcliffe estimates that around 5 million tons of bushmeat are sold each year in the Congo basin alone. However, the rising demand is causing wild animal populations to dwindle, particularly chimpanzees. With fewer animals available to hunt, bushmeat prices are climbing, and tragically, the population of chimpanzees is shrinking by the thousands every year. One alarming fact is that if nothing changes, we could face a future without chimpanzees in just a few decades. Although chimpanzees can live up to 35 years in the wild, they reproduce very slowly. A female chimp may only give birth every 5 years, and even when not many are hunted, entire groups can disappear over time. This slow reproductive rate makes them especially vulnerable to the bushmeat trade. To make matters worse, deforestation and climate change are further reducing their numbers. At the start of the 20th century, there were likely around 1 million chimpanzees living in the vast forests of Central Africa. But today, that number has plummeted to as low as 172,000. If current trends continue, scientists warn that chimpanzees could vanish from the wild entirely within the next 30 years. It's difficult to know exactly how many chimpanzees are being hunted for bushmeat because the hunters often venture deep into the rainforests of Central Africa, and the meat is sold in markets far from the source. However, scientists have found a way to estimate this toll by counting the baby chimpanzees brought to sanctuaries. These babies are often orphaned by bushmeat hunters who kill the adults and leave the young behind since they aren't valuable for meat. Researchers estimate that for every baby chimp rescued, 4 to 9 adult chimps were likely killed. This is a conservative figure, as many orphan chimps die from injuries during transport or are kept illegally as pets. Tragically, only about 1 in 5 orphan chimps will ever reach a sanctuary. If drastic action isn't taken, these remarkable creatures could become nothing more than a memory in the coming years. What are your thoughts about the incredible giant chimpanzee society of the Congo? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below.